you're one of the LinkedIn rock stars. I mean, one of these people I've been following on LinkedIn. And I really started to get to know you on Clubhouse, actually. I think we were in a couple chats and whatnot together. And I think I said, hey, do you want to come on to a LinkedIn Live-a-thon sometime? And we were going to originally have you on last month when I had all the LinkedIn rock stars as a part of the lineup. And I think I was messaging a bunch of people. By the time you reached out, I think I already had everything locked in at that point. So I said, hey, how about we book you for April? So why don't you, before we start talking about the networking strategies, Judi, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your business is all about.
Well, I first want to say thank you. And this goes back to everyone that's job searching. Every single touch point is about high intention, low expectation. So I had high intention of getting back to Brenda and holding, high intention, low expectation. There's never an expectation that anything's going to come through, and you just have to hold out for anything to happen in the future. So just as an FYI, you never know what's going to happen and where you're meant to be at the right time in the right place. So I am Judi Fox. I've been in love with LinkedIn since 2009. I first started on LinkedIn because I lost my job in the 2008 crisis. And that really launched me on the platform because I started saying to myself, if I apply online into one of these online systems, I'm just going to be a number in the minds of recruiters, hiring managers. I don't want to be a number. The way I'm going to get the job the fastest is to be at the top of the pile. How do I make it to the top of the pile? Get direct access to the decision makers. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. Some kind of maybe not talked about a lot, networking strategies that from the outside may look like, wait, how does that make sense? But it does. It allows you to get to the top of the pile because you network to the people, but you talk with them in a way that makes them see you, makes you memorable. So
awesome. Well, I'm going to actually just turn the floor right over to you right now, Judi. Do you have slides that you're sharing today, or are we just doing a talk? I can't remember.
I do have slides, unless you're dying for me just to talk.
I love
having slides.
There's some different things. So what if you could do this in the bottom of your StreamYard, you should see, Judi, it says share. So what you'll have to do is share it, and then I have to approve your share, and then it comes up on screen, and then I'll pull my video out as soon as that happens. And while you're doing that, it might just take a minute for us to get this. And guys, I'm all about behind the scenes. I'm not like a perfectionist when it comes to production. So I like to let you guys know what's happening as we're doing it. I never make mistakes, nor do any of my gracious co-hosts and speakers. We are having learning experiences as we go. So I just saw it, Judi. It popped on screen for a second.
And I took it down because I realized I shared the wrong presentation. So.
And I think the good thing about this too is when you share, it doesn't go until I click on. So if you were to share something like your email inbox accidentally, I'm like, oh, Judi, it's the wrong thing. Do you want to try it again? So I think StreamYard is trying to help us out a little bit with this.
They are. I don't know why it's not pulling up. I didn't want to share my entire screen, but I can just share my entire screen if that works.
So. Okay. Whatever's easier for you. There you go.
Let's see. We can have some fun with this. Oh, I found it. Judi. There it is. Okay, fine. I had to refresh.
I'm going to add to stream now, and then I'm going to pull myself down so you can make your screen a little bit larger here. And then I'll turn the floor to you, Judi, and I'm going to come back in at about 10:50 to help with Q&A.
Okay, so does that work? Does that take up the screen? Am I still on the screen? Because I cannot see myself. Okay.
Yeah, so we can see you. You're like a small video on the left side of the screen, and then the bulk of the screen is the larger, what I'm seeing, 3 networking opportunities to get opportunities, that pink graphic in there.
Got it. All right. So the 3 LinkedIn networking strategies to get opportunities, you are in the right place. I'm going to hit you right off the bat with what are the 3. So that way you can keep them top of mind as we spend some time together. Number 1, being memorable. But I'm going to talk about how to do it. And really what it comes down to is how you make people feel is truly what is most memorable about anything you can do. Next up is your reputation. And it's going to be interesting. Again, I'm going to share things that I don't normally share, that I don't normally hear talked about. So it's actually your reputation is stronger for how you talk about others. You can never control what people say about you, but you have 100% control of what comes out of your mouth and what you say about others. And there's an entire world that's called spontaneous trait transfer that actually reflects better on you for how you talk to other people. And I'm going to literally show you a message that I could write today to Brenda as an example. So Brenda, you're getting a message as an example. You're my example. Trust the way you comment, and it's also what's called the law of reciprocity. And I always have to say that with a little extra flair because it's a hard word to say. All right. I'm going to share my journey on LinkedIn, but I just love it. I'll just share that I love it. So from 1994 into 1999 is when I was getting my chemical engineering degree. I worked for Marathon. I've worked for United States Gypsum. I got my master's degree in business sustainability and environmental management. And that's when I lost my job. So I was starting to create websites. When I lost my job, I actually decided to travel the world, and I lived in Germany and Australia. So that opened up my world to international travel. And I joined LinkedIn because I said, wait, if I'm going to be traveling around the world, the easiest and best thing I could do is start networking to my next job. And that's when I started networking and making YouTube videos, built my first company, which was my resume remodeling, helped people do LinkedIn and connecting. That was an article I wrote in 2013 on my blog. Again, I always thought my main goal was to run an environmental consulting company. So I built my own consulting business and networked to brands like Kraft and Rolls-Royce and Tesla. And I worked with some major brands because of LinkedIn. Every single connection I made was because of LinkedIn. And then I finally, in 2018, decided I was like, I'm going to take what I have learned from all of these years, 2008, 2009, all the way to 2018. And I summarized it all up into what I call my LinkedIn Business Accelerator, because I truly learned how to network to opportunities and jobs and support people's careers through LinkedIn. So long story short, it has been an amazing journey, and it's still a journey that I love. So what is networking to opportunities? Let's get into this, because many people think networking at a very high level, in its most simplest terms, is I make a list of people, I touch base with them on a regular basis on some type of schedule, I sequence them through some type of written messages or templates or some way of, I don't know, strategizing it so I don't get overwhelmed with constantly thinking of what message to send. But that is not actually networking. I know it's controversial, but that's just touching base with people. That's not getting you an opportunity. It is getting you to be potentially visible, but is it getting you an opportunity? If that worked, then we would all have jobs, correct? Like every single person would have a job right now, because I think, and I can almost guarantee everyone listening has been touching base with people, reaching out, making a list. But you truly network when you can show up an extra step for people. So there's an element of being memorable in their inbox, in the actions that you take. And I'm going to give you actions to take. I'm not just going to leave you hanging saying be memorable. And you're like, what is memorable? Next up, we have it's the reputation. So obviously we cannot control what people say about us, but we can control who we surround ourselves by and what we say about other people. And then the other thing about your reputation and trust building is when you comment, because public conversations build trust to people having private conversations. So many people want to go straight to direct messages. But even just seeing you in conversation in public doesn't mean you have to be talking to the person you're trying to get a hold of. Us just knowing that people are trusting you in a public way allows us to trust you in a private direct message. So when you combine memorable and trust and your reputation, big mixing bowl, you have networking to your opportunity. So let's break each one down so we are not like, Judi, what do I do? And I'm like, here you go. Here's your steps. So love this quote by Maya Angelou. Absolutely love it. People will forget what you said. So they're not going to remember everything you said in that really well thought out template or your format that you have to reach out to people. People will forget what you did in the past. They're going to forget actions or results or steps, but they're not going to forget how you made them feel. So your results are going to make them feel. Your message is going to make them feel. So think first about how you're leaving people in your messages and how you reach out to people, how you're making them feel. And that is powerful. So the first step number 1 is pick 5 ways you want people to feel. Obviously, I've got like my arms in the air. I'm going to share the 5 ways I want you to feel. You don't have to feel this way if you don't want to, but I want you to feel this way. And if you're vibing with this, drop a fox in the chat so I know you're here and I know you're listening and I know you're dying to pick the 5 ways you want people to feel. You're more than welcome to start putting and thinking and processing the 5 ways you want people to feel in the comments. So start thinking through this. If you don't have 5, pick 2. Because if you just get intentional about this, and I will also mention Clubhouse, I use and I keep these 5 ways that I want you to feel in my front of my mind every single day. And I've been doing it for years. So I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel like you can do it. I want you to leave happy and smiling. So I hope we all smile together today. I want you to feel comfortable. I mean, I'm wearing my yoga pants right now. I am super comfy. Encouraged. I want an energy of you can do this. That's probably like doubling down on empowered, but whatever. I'm owning it and ready to take action. I'm very action oriented. Love that kind of energy for all of us. So obviously I cannot force you to feel this way, but I would really like it. Okay. I did make a list of a crap ton of words that you can use to just help how people describe you. I know Brenda's going to share this in the resources, but I just wanted to show you a screenshot so you make sure you get the right document. It is on my website. So judifox.com. So you can grab your feelings if you need help just finding some words, but there's a gazillion words out there and it's just about you. You are you and so freaking unique on this planet. So own how you would love other people to feel around you. All right. Next up is your reputation. And this is a phrase that I found a whole research area. It's you are what you say. So it's called spontaneous trait transfer. The very traits you use to describe others are a mirror back on yourself. It's like shining a spotlight on someone else that is not you. That light reflects off of them back onto you. And it actually persists over time. So what you say about other people, so a lot of people are constantly trying to go out online and say things about themselves. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And I love even Brenda putting this event together. She is shining the spotlight on other experts, which reflects back on her as being a curator of great leadership and conversation, and it just elevates everyone within the conversation. So I'm going to show you how to use that as a job seeker. I gave an example. So the way you describe others becomes how people see you. So if I was someone listening right now, and I want to connect with Anna, who's going to be an upcoming speaker, I would say, Anna, glad to meet you through Brenda Meller. I have learned so much from following Brenda's content and advice. She is always gathering incredible thought leaders, and her knowledge for job seekers is powerful. Thank you so much for connecting, Judi. So I'm trying to connect with Anna Morgan, and I'm Judi, but notice how I found a common thread through Brenda. And what I said about Brenda actually can reflect between Anna and myself. Granted, Anna is speaking and I am speaking, so we would have to come, but that message could be anyone. Anyone here listening today could screenshot this message. Now, I'm going to know if you literally word for word send me this message, but it's going to crack me up, to be honest, because it's a powerful message. It's kind, it's thoughtful, and it's not trying to say, look at me, look at me, look at me. So spontaneous trait transfers allows you to say kind things about other people, knowing in a way, not in a manipulative way, but in a kind way that energy that you spent highlighting Brenda and spending the whole time in this message highlighting her opens the door for us to actually look at you and say, okay, well, let me start this conversation versus glad to meet you through Brenda. I want to tell you all about myself. And then we tune out a little bit. So opening and getting your foot in the door using what's called spontaneous trait transfer, it's a powerful networking tool. And one more way you can do it is voice notes in the direct messages. So I wanted to just show you a screenshot of myself leaving a voice note. But for you, putting some type of written message and then leaving a voice note allows us to connect with what you're saying. So we just need to know you exist. I always tell people it's awareness, evaluate, and then hire. We are going to know you exist. We have to know you exist to be able to even hire you. We have to evaluate you and decide if we like you, and leaving a micro note like that in 1 minute in the direct messages. And you can lean into verbally saying what I just said. So in that voice note, which I cannot play, but I could say something like, find a common thread for maybe there's a way I could connect something they've publicly put out into the world and I can draw a connection. And that is what I would say that has that spontaneous trait transfer type of message in there, where I don't have to put the spotlight on myself. It's already glowing around the fact that they've seen my posts or they've seen what I've put out in the world publicly. And then we trust your voice. We do need to hear you, and we don't always get a chance to get everyone on a 15-minute coffee chat. So I want you to be aware there's this amazing thing to leave a voice note, and always pair it with written words like the one I just showed you before, like this. So if you send this, they accept, say thank you for accepting, and then potentially leave a voice note with, again, continuing in the frame of it's not always about you until they are now looking at you, if that makes sense. And yes, finally, this is the last part, trust and commenting. When people see your public conversations, it doesn't mean you have to be talking at them. They could just see you in public having a conversation. They're going to trust replying to your private direct message. So commenting on this live stream right now is an example of you having a public conversation, which means anyone watching, if they see your public conversation, they see you pop up on the screen because Brenda's been sharing comments on the screen, they will trust replying to a private direct message. They're going to trust accepting. So you trying to connect with everyone at this event, it is powerful for you to make some type of public comment, and it allows more people to trust they're going to connect with you. This is the power. You get visibility on your profile. So that is a screenshot from somebody I said, this was 15. This is only from 15 high quality comments. No posting, nothing else. That's all they did was go out and show intentional appreciation for people's posts, having an opinion on someone's post that either supported them or offered some type of curious question and said, wow, I love this topic. I'd like to know more. Here's my thoughts. What do you think? And then got into conversation. Public, again, comments are powerful for your profile. So many people are trying to build out a profile that converts to see my resume or see the jobs I'm looking for. Powerful. All right. I probably am going to run out of time. I could talk about this all day long, but comments are a top content strategy. Number one, and then this is the end of my presentation, just FYI. So LinkedIn shows your comments to the community. Number one, there's the law of reciprocity. There's a fancy word again. But when you show interest in others, they tend to want to show interest in you. I think that's pretty evident in 15 comments. People will show interest in you. That is profile views. LinkedIn will value your conversation and good comments, which again leads more people to see your content if you do post, or just having your profile built out for people to see your resume and your experience. And then a bonus tip, if you're not sure what to post on LinkedIn, a high quality comment can lead into your own ability to make a post. You could summarize what you learned today at this event and turn that into a post. It would be a beautiful post for LinkedIn because so many people maybe can't make it today. And we also can see the world through your eyes and your experience, and the way you see what got presented today and how you digested it is unique to the world. So you making a post summarizing the top tips you heard today from each person's presentation, it's a beautiful post. And you can also make a LinkedIn story. I have no idea what expression that is. I'm like pouncing like a fox on make a LinkedIn story about this talk. It looks a little aggressive, but just go for it. You can mention all of us in the talk. You use the little @ symbol. And yes, LinkedIn stories, it's a new feature, but that's another way to kind of enter into the world of putting something publicly out there. You showing yourself in learning mode and soaking up information shows yourself becoming part of the community and gets you visibility. Again, it goes back to yourself. Even though you're not talking about yourself, that's that spontaneous trait transfer, who you surround yourself by, what information you soak up, what experts you try to consume elevates your visibility too. And there is my summary where you can get all of the information. It's at the bottom of my judifox.com. And I also have a hashtag. So my hashtag is #FoxRocks. And I am done. I will leave it on that slide for now. Whoa, there's a lot happening on that screen.
That was awesome, Judi. Thank you so much. And I'm just coming back up on stage right now. So we're in a LinkedIn Live-a-thon here, guys. We're going all day long here. And what I've been telling people is I'm running, let me just see. I'm going to take this one off of the screens. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate. I'm not making any mistakes right now. I'm having a learning experience, which is I'm trying to figure out how to switch from Judi's screen to my screen. At the same time, I see Anna Morgan has arrived in our green room. I want to bring Anna up on screen just for a quick second to say, hey, Anna, how are you today? Anna, you're muted. Can you unmute? Just want to make sure we can hear you okay here.
That was so 2020 of me. Hello.
Do you two know each other yet? I feel like the whole community is like we all know each other, but do you two know each other yet?
We do know each other very well.
Yes. All right, Anna, I'm going to put you back in the green room as we finish up with Judi, and then I'll bring you back in just a minute. So this is a little bit of a presenter tip I've learned if you're doing kind of things live back to back. I pull people up just to make sure we can hear her, see her, audio, video is working, and then as we wrap up. And I did put on screen, if you have a question or a comment for Judi, add it in. And I've seen so many great comments pulling up. Someone had a question about voice notes. I'm going to pull that back up on screen, but I believe the question was for voice notes, Judi. Is that only something you can do on mobile, or can you do those on desktop? Can you help?
It's only mobile. You can listen to them on your desktop, but you can only leave them on your mobile device. So,
okay.
Mobile only.
So mobile only. And I admit, I see some people are saying they're going to start using them. They're using them every day.
I use them.
I myself haven't. I occasionally will. If somebody sends me a voice note, I might reply with a voice note. I prefer to text or do the voice to text thing. And I've even starting to get some video clips that are being sent to me in messages too, making, definitely a strong impression. And hey, I just posted on my LinkedIn stories a story of Judi talking about, it's like a tip within a tip within a tip. It's all kind of layered in here together. So thank you for that. And keep in mind here, guys, if you're watching this on your laptop and you have LinkedIn stories, do what I do, like pull your phone out and take a picture of your laptop from your phone and then post that in stories and tag the person or persons that appear on screen. And I loved your other tip, Judi, too, about taking notes and putting that out. Now, what are your thoughts on doing it as a LinkedIn article versus a LinkedIn post? Do you have any thoughts one way or another? And thinking about job seekers in particular.
I think that starting with a post is more accessible for how much effort goes into an article versus a post. So some people get overwhelmed by an article just as a launching point. But if you're already familiar with how to make content and do posts, I say do both, because you get more space within the article to make a full content piece that could drive traffic back to your profile. But it is a little bit more time intensive to make an article if it's your first one.
Yeah. And it's a little bit trickier if you're not as familiar with them, finding them even can be a little bit tricky in there. G's saying she likes the video clips tool. I'm seeing so many great people responding back saying this was very helpful. Thank you, Prashant, for watching us here today. And there's a couple people, Judi, that I'm saying, whoops, not this one, where they have like the little gray avatar instead of their name. If that's you who's saying this comment, it's because you either have your profile photo set to not public, or it might be in your third-party application settings. I'll try to comment back on you so you can see and make that adjustment, because we'd love to see people. We'd love to see your names up here on screen.
I've learned a ton of people don't realize this. And this actually, because of Clubhouse, I learned this. And my username on Clubhouse is the same as my @ symbol for Instagram. It's @JUDIFOX rocks. Judi Fox rocks. So what I'll say about being able to hear from people on Clubhouse, I have frequently gone to their profiles and they are gray circles, and they don't even know that they're a gray circle because they realize that. So if you double click on your own picture, so obviously Brenda's not logged in as me, but what you want to do is double click on your circle image and you'll be able to see if you're public and make sure that your circle image is public.
That's a great tip. Great tip. And I did see a couple people asking about the slides that you were sharing. And I think you said, Judi, that you will make those available to people. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can make them available. I have my past presentation slides. Right when you go to do my downloads, I have other presentation slides right there. So
it's wonderful. And if you're able to share those with me too, Judi, I can make them available to anybody who subscribes. And I did create like it's just kind of a quick landing page where you can opt in. So it's mellermarketing.com/Lil April. So Lil is LinkedIn Live April. I try to be kind of clever with that. Someone said they thought that was my rap name. Nope, that's just the webpage.
Lil April.
Lil April. But I try to make it so you could easily type it in, and I'm putting it in the chat comments as well. And I just pulled up on screen, Judi, your LinkedIn account. So are you open to accepting invitations from people if they want to connect with you?
Yes. And they should try out that spontaneous trait transfer messaging where they say something kind about this presentation in Brenda, and that will reflect back on you.
That's awesome. So make sure, guys, when you go to Judi's profile, click on the connect button, add a note, and say, hey, Judi, I watched you on the LinkedIn Live-a-thon today. Tell her something that you learned from the presentation today. And feel free to post throughout the day as well. If you're done watching the video, you can reshare it out. But if there's something particularly compelling that you learned from Judi, share that. And don't be shy about sharing this on other networks too. If you're on Instagram or Facebook or other places, our goal today is to bring you great resources that are going to help you while you're in career transition. And Judi was on with us sharing some networking strategies rather, to help you to get opportunities. I hope you guys found this helpful. Judi, I thought this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. It was just such a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, everybody. And you're going to enjoy the next presentation with Anna.